for the challenges of life without care.
As you should prepare for Girl Be Heard, the Fundraising Gala happening on the 23rd of November at the Government Plaza Auditorium. As the name implies, it is a fundraiser and you want to be part of the cause. So to tell us more about it, we are joined by teaching artist or Girl Be Heard TT, no stranger to the Now Morning Show, Ariel John. Good morning.
Greetings, good morning.
Always a delight to chat you up.
Same.
Because you have managed to continuously find ways to empower not just girls, but young persons throughout the country with the art form. Before we get into that though, speaking of art form, I have to make sure that viewers know it's not a typo. The exclamation is the excitement that we want to put into the girls when they are heard.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit, at least about Girl Be Heard as a whole, because it is originated out of the US based arm, and now we have a TT version.
Correct.
Who or what is Girl Be Heard?
Yeah, so Girl Be Heard came to Trinidad and Tobago in 2016. Prior to that, my first encounter would have happened, I think, in 2012, going to a showcase and seeing some young teenage girls on stage and really performing some super powerful pieces. Some of them have gone on to do acting on Netflix and, you know, have gotten all these awards internationally. But anyway, back to that time, I was really blown away by the company and what they were able to produce, the stories they were telling, a lot of them being very radical for that political moment as well. So I kind of saw that at the back of my mind, came back home, and in 2016, we had the opportunity, they were visiting, it was a team of about 4 company members. And, you know, they went to, at the time it was Bishop Centenary College, and they had you know, some exposure to some of the girls there, and they were very, very adamant that they were not going to leave without setting up or helping us, assisting us to set up a chapter here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So. I'm glad they persisted, because what Girl Be Heard actually does is use spoken word, as I said, for empowerment, but quite a few other ways as well. Describe to me a little bit as to how it functions.
Sure. So at Girl Be Heard, we develop, we amplify, we celebrate the voices of our young women and also for our gender expansive youth, and we allow them to do this through storytelling, through socially conscious theater making, and we're also starting to engage more of the technology as well, because that's the direction that a lot of art is heading in the world. And so, you know, we also have to update our practices in that arena as well. So just allowing them the tools and the exposure and the platforms to tell their stories powerfully, creatively, beautifully, and allow them to experience their own power as change makers, as activists, as leaders in our world, and that they take that beyond their school life.
Definitely making sure they're heard. Now, what you're describing requires resources, and that brings us to that gala.
Absolutely.
We are trying to raise funds towards any particular endeavor or just continuous maintenance? Yeah,
so all this time we've had a really, really beautiful relationship with the U.S. Embassy. They've supported the program from its inception. And as we continue to evolve and expand, like you said, the funds have to roll in, especially in the economic climate, this political climate as well. We have to ensure that we're allowed to continue and sustain ourselves in the work that we're doing. Right. So that has invited us into the realms of having this first ever gala that we intend to make an annual event as part of our calendar, where we will be featuring our young people, of course, with some other really, really specially invited guests to share with our patrons that evening.
Now, before we start going through the specifics of that, I wonder, in terms of the types of girls that you are able to support, if there will be any expansion of that. We mentioned specifically young girls, particularly bishops, I think it was where you first encountered them. But we usually go beyond schools. We go beyond those sort of spaces. Absolutely. What type of girls are involved in Girls Be Heard?
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about this program, it being an after-school program, we've been able to expand ourselves beyond one school and serve a wider group, which was you know, in some kind of silver lining way initiated by the pandemic, where we were able to move online and therefore have girls from all across the country. So we had girls from Tobago, South Trinidad. We even had a migrant cohort where, you know, we were working with young people coming from different language backgrounds and very different like lifestyles, and some of our migrant and refugee youth as well. So as it functions right now, we finally have our own office space. This is under B Entertainment, and we're functioning right over on St. Vincent Street, and our cohorts are mixed. We get girls from all different schools, but at this time it's mostly in Port of Spain. Right. So what we really want to do is take it into San Fernando as well, get the young people coming in from South, because in our most recent cohort we also had a young person coming from as far as Rio Claro to come to the sessions. Yeah, so nice. We need the young people are seeking us out, so we would like to meet them in their spaces as well.
So then there's a space that we can go to help make that happen. We're heading to the government campus plaza, the auditorium that is, so that we can help this endeavor. Tell me about that concert, because we heard Vonat at the beginning, which means she's on the cast.
That's right.
Nice. Who else is there?
So we also have Niall Manswell, who is a calypsonian, comedian, a man of many trades, but also a really important part of the B Entertainment family. And of course, Nix Francois, who is, we call her internet famous, TikTok famous, but she's also a really incredible thespian and playwright and performer as well. So she will also be sharing some of her work that evening, as well as, our young people, some of our girls from the previous cohorts. They will also be presenting their very, firebrand, feisty, spicy poetry as well.
I like that, firebrand.
Yeah.
So what you're describing is a pretty dynamic evening.
Absolutely.
When do we start? Where do we get tickets?
Yes, so the event is actually at 6 p.m. We're starting with the program, and then we're graduating to the cocktails beyond that. The contribution is $300. Feel free to make a bigger deposit if that resonates. And while tickets are available on islandetickets.com online, you are also invited and welcome to pay at the door as well.
Nice. We're making sure that it is an annual thing.
Yes.
And so we know that's one thing we can look forward to from the Girl Be Heard TT cohort.
Correct.
Any other items on the calendar we could probably take a note of?
Absolutely. I think we're about to enter into this cycle of 16 days of gender activism. So that's something on our radar as well, coming up towards the end of November, which is where we're at. So you could look out for that as well. Follow our social media pages, our Facebook page, our Instagram page at Girl Be Heard Trinidad and Tobago.
Girl spelled with an exclamation on all the socials?
No exclamation mark.
No exclamation. Making sure.
It's inside. The exclamation mark is on the inside.
That's right. The fiery performances and making sure that girls are heard everywhere. Thank you very much, Ariel.
Thank you.
Not just for joining us this morning, but for continuing to lend your talents to beautiful causes. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Guys, we are continuing to celebrate not just girls, but the season. You want to stick around to find out what's up next, so we'll be back after these messages.
The way you look at me, boy, for a while, like a child, start to blush.